Hi, welcome to another segment of the Go Show. And these segments we are dedicating to the men and women who serve in our military armed forces for our country. We've had the Marine Corps on, the Army, and the Navy, and now we're very fortunate and very proud to have two members of the United States Air Force, Sergeants McGlynn and Potter, respectively here. Sergeants, welcome to the Go Show.
Thank you.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
And we wanted to talk to you about, what kind of opportunities and career opportunities, educational experiences that an individual can look for if they are interested in joining the Air Force. Someone comes in and says, I've been thinking about joining the Air Force. What can the Air Force do for me?
Okay. For college aspect-wise, the Air Force has the Community College of the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
And what the Community College of the Air Force is while you're going through your training for the Air Force, your basic military training that you will go through, you'll be earning college credits through there. And then the Air Force sends you to a technical school. And that's where the Air Force teaches you your job that you're going to perform for the Air Force. And you'll be earning college credits towards your Community College of the Air Force degree while you're going through that technical school also.
I see.
So you actually start earning college credits immediately when you enter in the Air Force.
Wow. Now, if I came in and said, look, I want to join the Air Force, but I really would like to pursue mechanics or the culinary aspects of the Air Force, what guarantees would I have that I'd have that particular line of country to work in?
Well, there's quite a process that you have to go through to determine what jobs you're going to be qualified to do for the Air Force. We have to give you an aptitude test, test your knowledge in math, science, vocabulary, electronics, mechanics, a little bit of everything on that. Based on your scores there, that will determine what jobs you're qualified for, along with your physical,
Fitness, abilities?
Well, they run you through a full physical at the military entrance processing station.
All right.
They're going to check your vision, hearing. It's a full physical inspection, and then that also will determine what jobs you're qualified for.
Yeah.
So once we have all that information, we'll sit down and we basically run that into a computer, and that'll populate all the jobs that you're qualified to do for the Air Force.
I see.
We have over 155 different jobs that you could possibly do in the Air Force, and they're divided up into 4 categories: mechanics, electronics, administrative, and then we have the general area also. So if you're looking to do something in the mechanical field, as long as you're qualified for those jobs, it's a pretty safe bet we're going to be able to get you into that mechanical field that you're looking to get into.
And you take these tests, the physical and all the other tests, before you actually sign the dotted line, so to speak?
Correct.
So you're taking these tests ahead of time?
Correct.
Now, then do you meet with these individuals and say, okay, now here's your test scores, or is that after they have enlisted in, in the I do?
We meet with them beforehand. When you initially come in my office, I'll show you the jobs that are available and kind of ask you what you're looking to do. And then I'll show you the scores that we're looking for those jobs, so you'd have an idea of what you need to score. And then when everything's put in the computer and the jobs are populated, you'll sit down with an Air Force job counselor, and that individual will say, these are the jobs you're qualified for in the Air Force. What jobs would you like to do? And then we just have you put a list on basically the jobs you're looking to do.
I see. And then you can guide them if they said, well, I would like to be a mechanic, but their aptitude in the tests that they take doesn't really necessarily show that they would be particularly good in mechanics, but in another area, then your Air Force person would be able to say, well, this is where you really shine. This is maybe what you ought to be looking at.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, do all the recruits who come into the Air Force, they take their basic training at Lackland in Texas? Everybody does that, right?
Yes, sir.
That you both have gone there. My son went through Lackland. My brother-in-law went for that. My brother went through Lackland Air Force Base. But there's no other training. I mean, once you have to go to Lackland. For how long of a period of time do you do that?
It is 8.5 weeks now
8.5
for basic training. When I went through about 8 years ago, it was 6.5 weeks. So it's gotten a little more strenuous for our people to go through. They've lengthened it out a little bit. And then, as he said earlier, once they get done with that basic training there at Lackland Air Force Base, they'll move on to their technical training, and that could be, we got a few different bases around the U.S. that they could go to learn whatever job that they're going to be doing.
And how long of a period of time would it be if someone says, I want to join, they take all the tests and they've made the scores that they need to make and they've visited with everybody. How long is it before they actually go to Lackland to take their basic training?
That depends. There's a few things that go into that. A lot of it is we ask you when you prefer to leave for basic training. Some people want to leave right away. They're looking for a job, looking to start pay, they want to leave right away. Some people want to wait a little bit for possibly a wedding or anything like that. So we ask when you prefer to leave for basic training. And then we try and get close to that date, as close as we can. Most of the time, it's going to be after that date. If it was going to be before that date, it would be so that we could get them that job that they're looking for. Like they have a job that they're really interested in. And I might call the individual and say, hey, I can get you this job you really want to do, but you're going to have to leave like 2 weeks earlier. Is that okay with you?
I see. Okay.
But you're going to give us a date that you're looking to leave for basic training, and then we're going to try and match that date up with the job choices that you have.
Okay. Now, what is the Air Force looking for in young people today? What do you look for in an individual?
Well, going back to the qualifications, we're looking for people that are morally qualified. You know, very few law violations, nothing real serious. Otherwise, we have to do a waiver a lot of times, and there's no guarantee that we can help that person out. Physically qualified. We talked about the physical earlier. You know, no major health issues that we're looking for. Let's see, the test scores, they got to be good, and our age is 17 to 27 that we're recruiting right now, and they have to be a high school graduate.
Well, they have to be a high school graduate.
Yes, sir.
So you won't accept them and then let them take courses that would get them a high school diploma as they're going. Okay, they have to be high. That's interesting. Now, what does a basic airman make now starting out? They go to basic training. What's their pay?
Starting pay for enlisted grade 1, Airman Basic is $1,249 a month. And then included in that pay, we're going to provide you with your housing, and we're going to provide you with your food. So you're not going to have to pay for either one of those. So out of that pay, you're just looking at paying your own personal bills.
And pretty much clothing, too.
Correct.
You get your uniforms, you know.
Correct.
Sir.
It was $68 a month when I went in many years ago. So that's why I went when you said $1,240. That's interesting.